Howdy there, Internet students. This is Mr. Hermanson helping you out with Objective 6.2b. That objective is writing equations in point-slope form. I'm just going to write that up here at the top to remind you what point-slope form looks like. Okay, now remember that you are going to keep the variables y and x and replace the other variables with numbers. So in this first problem here, my x sub 1 is -6, my y sub 1 is 5, and my slope is 10. So I'm just going to go ahead and substitute that right in. And the formula says y minus, and I put my 5 there for y sub 1, equals the slope, which is 10. And then x minus, my x sub 1 is -6. So I'm going to write it like that. Now, if you prefer to write your equation a little simpler, you can change that minus -6 into +6. And it looks a little nicer then. And that's all you have to do. Okay? And to graph an equation in point-slope form like this, what we have to do is identify the point that's being used to make the equation. That comes from this spot here and this spot here. Now remember, when the original equation, it has subtraction in it, so you have to be thinking, if it's a plus, what number would be subtracted to get that plus? So you have to think of this as y minus -4 equals -2 times the quantity x minus -6. So actually the point being used in this problem is -6, -4. So we're going to start by graphing that point, -6, -4. That's right there on the graph. And we're going to use our slope to get more points. My slope is -2. I'm going to make that into a fraction so I have a rise and a run. -2 over 1. So my rise is -2 or 2, and then my run is 1. So making sure my line is going in a negative direction, that 2 over 1 looks like that. And then I can just draw the line, and I'm done. Go ahead and, when you're doing your practice, put your other two lines on here. Maybe you want to label it. This one is A, so you remember which is which. Okay, the third problem on here has me looking at a graph and then writing the equation for that graph in point-slope form. So what I need to do is find the slope of the 2 points. Since it's on a graph, I think the easiest way is just to do my little step here, drawing a vertical line and a horizontal line between the points, and then using that to help me find the distances. It looks like I'm going up 8 and over 4. This line, since it's going up to the right, is in a positive direction. Rise over run would give me 8 over 4, which simplifies to 2. So my slope is 2. And then I can just use either of the points on the graph to write my equation. I'm going to use the point up here in red. The coordinates of that point are 2, 5. And now I'm going to write my equation in point-slope form. So y minus the y coordinate, which is 5, is equal to the slope, which is 2, times the quantity x minus the x coordinate, which is 2. All right. The last problem on this sheet is taking information from a problem and writing the equation for that problem in point-slope form. All right. So really, any of these, the variables in this first table show s and m. I'm just going to use x and y for my variables so we can be consistent with our equation. And I can take any of these two y's and any of these two x's and find the slope. So I'm just going to do these two y's, 145 minus 129, and then the x's that correspond to those two, 5 and 3. And go ahead and calculate that. That equals 16 over 2, which is 8. So my slope is 8, which basically is just saying that this helicopter is rising 8 feet per second. Okay. Now I'm going to use the point slope form. So y minus some y variable, and you can pick any one you want. I'll pick the 129 equals the slope times x minus the corresponding x coordinate, which is 3. You're done if you're asked to put it in point slope form. You're done. Just to help you realize this, there's actually a simpler form, and it's pretty easy to change this into a simpler equation. Just simplify, get rid of the parentheses, solve it for y, and then it'll be in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to distribute the 8, and that gives me 8x minus 24, and then the only other thing you have to do is add 129 to both sides, and you get y equals 8x plus 105, I believe. And that equation looks a lot simpler. All right, so go ahead and finish up this practice, and you should be ready for your retake. Good luck.